Hello, this is Clayton with Aeromotive Research and Development Group. Today we're sharing with you a presentation that's for automotive base oils that was created for Synmax University and Synmax Specialized Lubricants, presented at the Performance Parts Supply Automotive Conference in 2013. Should you have any information or desire any questions, technical, please contact us by email at office@aeromotiveresearch.com. Now, most of the information, if not all, of the data that is shared is commonly known statistics and scientific fact from the STLE, which is the Society of Tribologist and Lubrication Engineers. What is a base oil? It's a refined petroleum, mineral, or synthetic, man-made synthetic material that is produced by a refinery to a required set of specifications. The base oil quality and function has many factors in it. You have what's called Viscosity Index, which is VI, color and appearance and clarity, oxidization stability, consistency, and other vital elements. There's multiple types of base stocks that are used for different types of applications. Mineral base oils could be called paraphenetics, naphthetics, aromatics. Synthetics are considered what's called PAOs, which are polyallyophyllene, esters, PAGs, and you've got synthetic blends, which are as a combination, and we'll be getting into a lot of this further on. Now, your mineral oils are called like your Group 1 and Group 2s, all right, and then they refine into a Group 3. There's three different types of crude oil. You'll have paraphenetics, naphthetics, and aromatic. Now, what's really interesting is a crude oil barrel is really 42 gallons per barrel, not 55. That goes back to a long time ago. Now, synthetic base oils are very, very important in today's society. Some of the advancements that we have today in the 21st century is by using shale oil gas for very, very pure PAO base oils. But these are base oils and base stocks which are very finely refined. Most common are called polyallyophyllene PAOs, diesters, polyol esters, POEs, and polyalkylene glycols, or PAGs. There are multiple base oil categories. We have called Group 1, 2, 3, 4 is usually your PAOs, and Group 5 is most of your high-end aerospace level type oils. Now, you have what's called saturates, all right, the ability for the molecules to be able to work with each other. These are present naturally in base oils and have higher levels achieved in the refining processes. Now, you have what's called sulfur levels in base oil. You could take a lot of oil, even your high-end synthetics, and if you cook it long enough, it's going to go back to its sulfurized capability. So what you want to do is have the most strongest, purest oil that you can with the least amount of sulfur that's in it. Very important, what's called VI, or viscosity index. The higher the viscosity index, the greater the stability of the oils, all right? Now, the higher the paraffin content, the greater the stability of the oil as well, which also is part of the viscosity index. This is higher VIs is very good for many performance characteristics. Now, you have what's called base oil automotive viscosities. All right. Now, we've got a chart that we're going to get into in a minute. Here's a common chart that's used. Now, what it is that you've got viscosity weights at what's called 40 degrees centigrade or 100 degrees centigrade, and this across the board is how you use it to determine the weight of the oil to the application to which you need. Very important to know and to use this chart. There's typical viscosity index ranges for the different types of base oils. You've got naphthetic petroleum, paraphenetic petroleum, which is your synthetic blends, but the best you want to have is your Group 4s, which is going to be like 125 to 200. That is, look at the VI index on the data sheet, and that will tell you the quality of the product that you're dealing with. Now, naphthetic oil is your Group 1. It's your most basic oil that's used. A paraphenetic oil, also considered a synthetic blend type oil, is going to be your Group 2 to Group 3. It's going to have a very, very good, and Group 4s as well, it's going to have a very high viscosity index. Now here's a comparison on base oil stock properties. One of the important things on your higher end oils is called oxidization stability. Oxidization is thermal breakdown, which causes a chemical reaction between the oils and the oxygen, which form acids, which when they break down, they have what's called varnish and sludge. You want to have a qualified oil that is not going to break down or oxidize. All right? Another important in the breakdown process is called thermal stability. In other words, the ability of the lubricant to resist thermal degradation. All right? Because physical process instead of the chemical process. Good thermal stability provides good oxidative stability. What does that mean, Clayton? Basically it is. The better the product that you have, the better the durability it can provide for you to the application. Volatility. All right, you want to have a low volatile product. So again, the better the product, the better stability. Solvency. Now this is a very, very important situation. The solvency of the oil. This is where esters are important with PAOs or your synthetics. Most of your naphthetics or your Group 1s or 2s are able to absorb chemistry very, very easily without needing help. Your higher end Group 3, 4s, and 5s, especially with your synthetics, they need help with esters for the additives to be able to work together. So the science of it is beyond the base oil, is the compatibility with the additives and everything to work together in a synergistic or complete environment. An important avenue here is the molecular structure of the oil. With the synthetic oil, you have more uniform molecules so that the resistance with the oil molecules with themselves and upon the surface is much more efficient. Let me explain this. If you have your mineral oils, all the little molecules are different sizes and it's inconsistent. You have two types of friction. You have the friction of the molecules within themselves fighting each other or working with each other, and then the other resistance is on the metal surface yourself. So there's always a combination between how the molecules are working with each other and how they work against the surface of the metal. It's a science to be able to get everything together correctly. So let's get into your synthetic base oils. Now, synthetic base oils or base stocks is going to be your PAOs along with your diesters, polyol esters, polyalkylene glycols, and silicones. Now, it is a tremendous problem solver when it comes to temperature, energy savings, extended drain intervals, and wear. Synthetics have greater advantages for higher flash point, lower pour point, and tremendous oxidization stability. The continued advantages is, as we shared, thermal stability, high viscosity index. In other words, it provides viscosity stability through use. It doesn't go up and down as much. Natural detergency, the esters that are in it, high shear strength, and fire resistance. The disadvantages, it does cost a little more, yet in the 21st century, the prices have been coming down as much as they've been used. And toxicity and hazardous disposal. In last century, it was a little more tougher. Today, everything is much more refined in the 21st century. The other situations you have to look at is polarity, seal capability, and other stabilities that are in here. In other words, for the polarity, its ability to draw in, this is why you need esters with your synthetics. Seal capability, you cannot, because there's so much solvents in it, against a rubber type seal, you have to have what's called a butyl or other type seals that are designed for synthetics. You put a synthetic in an old car, it's going to be very destructive, because back then they didn't have synthetics, they just had more of your Group 1 and Group 2 oils. So make sure you got the right oil for the right design. The most premium use is what's called PAOs or polyolefins. All right, The branches within the paraffins and the molecules work together. It has one of the greatest oxidative and thermal stabilities that are capable. It's very highly used in many aerospace and other performance applications. It has a low pour point. It can go as low as like 85 degrees below zero. Great oxidization and thermal stability. Low coefficient of friction and traction naturally within the oil. And it's compatible with mineral oils as long as the ester-based synthetics are used with it. Great corrosion resistance and reduces electrostatic behavior. It has moderate solubility with most of the additive systems that are out there. We have what's called the effects of hydrodynamics. In other words, where the bearing and the journal work together. We have to be able to look at this and know this, because when you're looking at an oil like a crank on a rod or a rod on a crank in the oil, and how the inner and the outer metal surfaces work, and this is also very important for bearings as well. We have the compressibility of the oil. When the oil is hydrodynamic in its lubrication and its regime, or how it's worked, the PAOs, because of the consistency of the molecules, can have greater stability in the squeezability or the hydrodynamic lubrication requirement. Group 3s and 4s in the PAOs. Group 3s are usually highly refined, but Group 4s are usually your pure synthetics. Group 3 versus Group 4. A PAO is going to have a better operational temperature than a Group 3. So we have to watch out, and I skipped over the one situation where it talked about what people call a synthetic today. You get what you pay for, all right? And just because something is highly refined doesn't make it a synthetic. A PAO is a synthetic. The other ones are close, but they're not your full synthetics. And this is the end of our presentation for the automotive base oils. Again, we want to thank you. If you have any technical questions, go through this, put it on pause, read the slide, contact us at office@aeromotiveresearch.com. Should you want to buy some of the high-end products which are developed by Synmax, please contact Performance Parts Supply and their qualified dealers across the country. So this is Clayton with Aeromotive Research. Thank you for our time together, and we'll see you at the next presentation.